Well, welcome to Donnie and Rachael Campbell. It's great to see you, folks, and thank you for agreeing to meet up for this chat today. As many of you will know, Donnie, I think on the 2nd of September, in the early hours of the 2nd of September, completed a record-breaking marathon of climbing all the Scottish Munros, that is mountains over 3,000 feet, in a record-breaking time of 31 days. And I thought it would be good to catch up with Donnie and Rachael just to reflect a little on that, but also to ask one or two more personal questions about the role of their own beliefs and faith as well. If I could start with you, Donnie, what does it feel like to be a record breaker?
Feels normal, really. It's nice to have a record, but it's not the reason I do these things, for the record. So yeah, obviously it's nice, but yeah, it doesn't feel any different from when I started the Munro round to once I finished. Okay. I'm still the same person. I still enjoy training. I still enjoy running up and down hills. So yeah, it hasn't made any real difference.
Okay, thanks for that. We've obviously been in lockdown a fair bit of the time since you completed the Munros, but how have you spent that time? What have you been able to do since you completed the 282 Munros in record time?
So thankfully, living in the Highlands, we've had a bit more flexibility than if we were in the central belt of Scotland. So I've still been able to get out to the hill. So originally, once I finished, I kind of had some downtime. I was still a bit active, but then kind of since December, I've been back into full training, building up distance, volume, intensity, and yeah, still doing a fair bit of running, also mixing in some ski mountaineering as well at the moment because we've got a lot of snow. So yeah, still active and just trying to prepare for this season.
Okay, great. And Rachael, what have you been doing since Donnie completed the round?
I've just been back at work. So just back to normal life.
Back to porridge, as they say.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the time?
I did. Yeah, it was good. It was good to get to the end.
Yes.
But it was quite a full on month for me.
Yeah. It was basically the whole month of August, wasn't it? Then up to the 2nd of September.
And more, yeah.
And pretty much almost night and day, or literally night and day at times, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Donnie, let me ask you, you had some hard times. You anticipated those. You've got the experience of ultramarathon and the like, but even though you anticipate the hard times in the middle of it, I wanted to ask you, what helped you to keep going when things were at their hardest?
So a number of factors. So obviously, any challenge you go through low points, and there's a number of factors that keep you going. So there's not just one factor. So obviously, using sports psychology, you've got goal setting, positive self-talk, so these kind of things, but also kind of just having previous experiences, so knowing that you've got through it in the past. So obviously, if you're wet, cold, and tired, and you've still got 8 hours of running to go or something like that, and you've done it previously, then you can make it. So it gives you that experience, it gives you that confidence to kind of explore your limits a bit more. Yeah. So yeah, they really did. It's that kind of experience and stuff that helps get you through low points. Obviously in the Munro round, I had a very low point on day 17, and it was a combination of factors why it was so low. It just wasn't because of an injury. It was multiple factors, and again, how to cope with it is there's a multiple of factors. So obviously one of the factors that made me finish day 17 was I had no other option because I'm up a hill. There's only way to get off the hill is get to the finish. But how to get going the following day and stuff like that, routine, positive self-talk, goal setting, so breaking it down in smaller chunks, and all these kind of stuff, and having the experience, obviously, and knowing, if I keep going through a low point, inevitably I might be able to work out a way of getting through it as well. So there's a combination of factors there from like a sports psychology background as well. Also, I have a strong Christian faith, and that kind of helps as well, because obviously I don't feel the pressure as in I need to complete it to define myself. I know if I fail, then that's fine. It's not what matters really long term. But yeah, kind of there's a combination of factors.
Yeah, thanks for that. Rachael, what was the hardest part for you? Would you say, if there was one particular hard part, or was there just one thing through it all that was hard for you?
I think it was just being the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know the route or what he was going to be doing each day till the day before.
Right. Yeah.
Just literally day by day working
Yeah.
out where he's going to be. So
yeah.
And
Donnie, I'll come back to you with the same question, Rachael, in a wee moment. But Donnie, what was the best part for you?
Probably Skye. I really enjoyed Skye. I said in previous interviews that actually when I was doing this Cooling Ridge on Skye with a couple of friends, it didn't actually feel part of the challenge. It just felt like I was out with some mates. The weather was that nice. And obviously when you're doing the Cooling Ridge, you're more focused on not falling off the ridge than anything else, and then just chatting to friends. So actually that was probably the best day. I enjoyed the most. There's other really highlights as well. So like Neudart was stunning, but also brutal, and that knocked me on my ass physically, because it was like 60k with 6,000 meters of ascent, and then obviously the finish is nice as well because it's the finish. But yeah, I would say out of all the Skye is the day it sticks out for me.
Yeah, and speaking of Skye, which is very where you're from, isn't it? Your fellow skianach, Danny McCaskill, has just released another video, I think yesterday, of him coming down the black slabs at Loch Carusk. So I don't know if you haven't seen that. You can keep your eyes.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I don't fancy trying that one.
No. So that's great. And Rachael, what was the best part for you?
I think the finish at Ben Hope. And then when he passed me on the way down, because I was waiting with some other folk, and he said he was going to put the kettle on. So
And did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
well done. Great. Donnie, you've already mentioned your Christian faith there, and you have mentioned it in other interviews that I've seen you do in other podcasts, and you've touched on this already, and I heard you say previously that your identity is not in your running as such. Your identity is in Christ. I just wondered whether you would like to explain what you mean by that, just to enlarge on that a wee bit.
Obviously it's quite hard to explain, but basically, I don't see myself as a runner. People might see me as a runner or an athlete, which is fine. Obviously I'm a runner and an athlete, but I know that doesn't define me. I know if for some reason if I wake up tomorrow morning and never run again, I'll be probably miserable for a while, but I know there's more to life than just running up and down hills or being an athlete. So that's kind of why I say I know it doesn't define me, even though I really enjoy that sport. And if it got taken away from me, yes, I would probably struggle a bit, but I know overall, there's more to life than just running up and down hills.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks very much, Donnie. If I could just follow on to that question about, a lot of people, and I include myself, who love the outdoors and love being out in the hills and getting the skis on when we can. A lot of people have a great respect for it and even an awe for it. Maybe even worship it as a kind of God. What would you say to folks like that if you got the opportunity?
I think that's a hard question because everyone's at different states at different times, and depending who you're with and how you know them, you might approach that differently. But obviously, you try and point to the creator rather than the created, but how you do that would be open to judgment on any given day and who you're with. So I can't really answer that specifically.
Yeah.
But you try and maybe start a conversation about, who created it, or point them to actually the creator rather than worshiping the created.
Yeah, thank you. And just to take that a wee bit further, what would you say to any fellow outdoor enthusiast as to why they should investigate the faith that you and Rachael share, Christianity, or investigate the claims of Jesus Christ? Is there anything that you would be, if you got the opportunity again, why should people even bother in the 21st century looking into the life of someone who lived 2,000 years ago?
again, you know, that's a hard question. How do you approach it with an individual? Again, the reason you would want to point them to Jesus is because there is more to life than this life. This is fleeting. This is passing. We all die. And I believe we go to heaven. And, you know, if we don't believe in Jesus and repent of our sins, then, yeah, I do believe there's a hell as well. Obviously, that sounds stupid to people that don't believe it and they think it's pie in the sky stuff, but that's how I feel and I believe it. And that's kind of why I would want to tell people about Jesus, is so they have that opportunity as well to go to heaven, really.
Yeah, thanks for that. Here's a question that's just occurred to me. We've talked a wee bit about how your Christian faith has influenced the way you view your running. Is there any way in which what you do in the world of sports and running, has that influenced the way you approach the Christian faith at all?
Never been asked that question.
No. Yeah, didn't give you a warning for that one.
I think there's a lot of analogies of, you know, in the Bible of running the race or perseverance. And I think even just running long distance in general is a good metaphor for life, because it's not easy. You'll have highs, you'll have lows, you'll have difficult points. Things will go right, things will go wrong. And that's generally life. And again, that's generally Christian life as well. So yeah, I think running's a metaphor for a lot of things. And yeah, it kind of helps you relate to other stuff, you know, as I've gone on, as I said earlier, about experiences, you know, if you've got through a difficult time during running, that's going to help you, give you confidence, get through a difficult time in life or, you know, other situations.
Yeah. Thanks for that. What's your next big challenge, Donnie?
Training a husky probably in May, I think now. So,
right, okay. You've got one coming.
We've got one in order, yes. Hopefully, anyway. It's the litter's due in March, so it'll probably be March, April, May.
Okay. Oh, that'll change your lives.
Yeah.
And Rachael, are you getting to choose what happens this summer this year?
No, I think so. I'm not sure we can actually go anywhere. But
well, I suppose that's it.
Yeah. So maybe not.
Maybe the Corbetts.
Yeah, you could do the Corbetts. I thought you might be able to do them in reverse. You know, start with Ben Hope in the north and finish off in the Isle of Mull.
Yeah.
or maybe try and break the record for, let's say, from John O'Groats to Land's End, something like that. But
someone did that last year. Well, last year they did it in just under 10 days. Dan Lawson, incredible athlete, but I don't fancy running up the side of day 9. Sounds terrible.
No. Well, guys, thanks very much for your time tonight. Just an incredible achievement again, and as you've said before, Donnie, you couldn't have done it without Rachael there as your co-worker and your support team. I think you climbed Mt Everest just over 14 times the equivalent height that you.
I think someone worked that out. I've not worked out, but I've been told that. So
well, that's what Red Bull have said. So I'll take their word for it as one of your sponsors. And you ran, I think, 833 miles.
If you've researched that, I can't remember.
I'll let you know.
I'm not really a stats person, so I can honestly tell you. I know it's something ridiculous, but yeah.
And you also kayaked a bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, okay, folks. Well, thanks for your time tonight, and whatever this 2021 holds for you both, we wish you well, and hope the husky comes along at the right time, and hope that, Rachael, you have a more relaxing summer this summer. Okay, thanks, folks.
Okay.
Cheers.